Stampin' Friends, Darlene with Darling Stamps. This is part 2. If you've missed part 1, check back on my YouTube channel and you can go through with me part 1. But let's get started and show some alternates. So before I start, let me go through and backtrack just a little bit. On my previous part 1, I was showing about I called it paper doll. If you know what the name of that is, shoot me a comment. It's something, but girls would know because we used to play paper dolls, and that's where you would have clothes that you could put on a baby doll or a Barbie doll, whatever. And basically put all different kinds of clothes. So I showed in part 1 how to put them on, but this is just the envelope. This is inside. I just stamped the boots on here, and so I'm just going through and I'm cutting inside the line so that when I put it on my stamped image, that I can basically just put it in the inside the lines of my black stamp. So that's kind of what I was doing. But I thought I would show this because I kind of went through it to save some time and decided that I needed to kind of just show, if you didn't know how that works. But I am just cutting inside that line. Okay, so then let me go through. It's funny because I thought I would try to make some of the cards that came with it, and I didn't. So I just focused on the alternates because I think that part of the success of the channel is putting together ideas outside the box. So I'm just going to use the Stamp Memento black, and I'm just going to stamp that black on white cardstock, and I've got that. Put that in my there, and then we're just going to put, hold on, if I don't put the lid on it, I don't know about you, but I have stuck my hand in it. So then we are just going to attach this little guy. I gotta make sure the right foot goes on the right side, left side goes on the left side. And then with the tumble glue, you can kind of move it around, so that makes it kind of nice. I don't try to put a whole lot on. So there. So now you can see that the black outline of what I just stamped is now accentuated by whatever DSP you want to use. Anyhow, now I want to show you the inside. This was actually the frame that made up this card that was in the kit. That was the picture that came with that. So what I did was I took and down the middle split it, and then these are the two cards I made. So this just has the tree punch, which you can also use the pretty label just as a cloud, and then just use the twine that came with it and the boot. And then the gray is one of the colors in the kit. Then this one was just using grass. I just stamped on top of it to kind of make more grass on it, and did the little bunny up here. And then this actually I cut, not this one, sorry. This one's all together, but I will use just the flowers in another project, but that's another alternate. Now I thought it would be good to take the sample, which is with the little bunny, and I kind of wanted to focus on animals. So what I did was, I kind of got crazy, you know, when you're creating. This is very busy, but this takes the stamp set that is sitting here and uses the bench And this is probably one that would not be one of your, I want to make 12 of them because it was very intricate. The clouds I just popped out of the background of this because it already had the formation of the colors and so forth. And I don't have the color Balmy Blue, so I have to improvise. So, and then what I did was I just took my marker, Stampin' Right marker, and marked over it because clouds are normally in front of, no, behind what you would see. So to kind of get more realistic. Then this took some crazy coloring. So just something to kind of look at. And so, but it doesn't really, you know how something can really go, oh, that's so pretty. This is okay. It's not something that I would make a ton of, but it was just a nice idea. Here's another one. And I just used the whole background. As you can see, I just used the same exact one, added some extra leaf in there. And then I wanted to show, just to kind of color the flowers on here and add a little bit more. This is my blending pin, and it's Coastal Calypso Coral. There we go. So just adding some more color. And then this one is just sitting around thinking of you. This is a polymer, so you can shape it the way you want. So that kind of made a neat thing. But I used a little puppy, and I used a bunny, and then colored the pillow. And of course the birdies, they're all sitting there. There's another one. Then this is probably my favorite of the ones I was trying to create some ideas. There's the bench. This came over from the Colorful Seasons. That's the branch. But I used the, now I'm going to get all stuck here. On this stamp set, these little flowers that go on this, because it's a 2 stamp for this basket. I just took the little flowers, and it really kind of looked like cherry blossom. So, of course, my bench is hanging from the branch, and got my flowers there. I didn't do the extra color on that, kind of was getting too busy. And then, of course, the boots. So there is 3 different versions of my bench. Now this one I'm not going to show just because of a time, but I wanted to show the Balmy Blue. This is the Subtles background stamp set, and then this is the layered stitched. And I took the stamp that comes in the kit and just gave 2 different ways of doing it. But I wanted to show, in part 1, I showed the background. This is a stamp that comes in the set, and I just stamped all the way around to the frame. But if you can see, it's tone on tone. So it's the Pear Pizzazz on Pear Pizzazz paint, paper. So, and then these little drops of water, or they're embellishments, but thought that was kind of neat to put on the card. And then using, this is the flap of the envelopes, just kind of reusing that best I can. And then there's the flowers I did on that. So anyhow, that's another alternate. Well, this little gem probably by far is my favorite. Maybe it's not for you, but every time I do something different, I try to jazz it up. So this is bringing different elements. So I tried using the same stamps that are in the set, also some variations. So I want to make this for you and show you how I did it, okay? So we're going to start with the white base, and I have my circle punch already done. Now I use 2 different kinds of punches, and this is a 2-inch, and we start with, remember with our base, I always cut the base that I would use for behind for a layer, but I am going to utilize the middle because of course we want to stamp that out. But I already have my circle done, and then I'm going to take the scallop 2 3/8, and I've already punched my hole, but now I'm going to go in and going to punch that out. So that stays for my layer base. But now I have a nice little circle, and I'm just going to dab little dots of glue all the way around so I can get not anything bulging out of it, but just enough that I can get a circle around it. There. All right, there's part one. And then I want to go a little bigger, and I thought I had my 2-inch. Oh, doggone it. All right, so we don't have it, so I was trying to be so prepared, and I don't. There it goes, 2.5. Phew. All right, so 2.5. All I'm going to do is cut out. This is the gingham, and because I want to stay in the purple theme, I thought I would go ahead and use that. And then I want it to be kind of not like a shaker, but something similar to having a little 3D. So everyone knows how to do this, but I thought, there. So now we have both of our layer and our solid piece. Now we want to get because our boot is going to go right there, and we want to also get the flowers on this. Now I'm going to show you, because this is all nice and clean. I bring in my icky one because I don't have all the space I haven't used, and I don't want to have a problem with going through paper. So just being resourceful. So I'm going to use again, same monochromatic, same color on color, and I'm going to take the flowers because I want to kind of make my border, and this will go on the card, and that's all we need from there. Okay. So now we have that done. Oh, and I want to go ahead. I'm not going to stamp the sentiment yet because I want to make sure that my area is the right height. You know how this is commitment. Once I'm here, if I get too crazy, then I'm stuck. So I have to make sure I do it in steps, phases. So we're going to put our a little bit of a border here, but I want to get my grass, and I'm going to come up just a little bit. And I don't normally, when I've got 2 pieces of paper, I don't normally put my my piercing mat underneath it because you know, it just has a bit of a bulk to it. So I want to get some fill in here. So I'm going to use the bottom of the grass and offset just a bit. And then what it does, it gives me variation heights and it fills in. So there's that. Now that is done. Now I want to put my purple piece on, and that's going to go right here. I try to get as much of my scraps used as possible. So all the little itty bitty pieces I try to use up. So I keep a it's a page protector, and so all my little scraps go in here. That way, inside my area that I've got for each color stamp, each color paper, I get to have a resource of supplies that help me. Okay, so now we have our grass here, and I've decided that I am going to color the flowers. And so I'll just go back through my, and I like the that there's like a big end and then a little end. You've noticed that I have opened up the card because it will bleed through just a little bit, and I don't want it to bleed through both sides, basically. And this color will actually blend real well with my boots, so it kind of gives a little bit of color there. I'm not doing the dots, it's more like little sketches, but the flowers are kind of I don't know what kind of flowers they So, all right, so now we can go ahead and put our sentiment on. And I'm going to use the same color as my boots because it kind of, the whole idea of Stampin' Up, the whole idea of any kind of project, Stampin' Up or not, doesn't matter, is that it's called a wonderful blending of colors. How some colors look really well together, some don't. And so by using them all simultaneously, it really helps to make a project look wonderful and pop. Okay, so now I'm going to get my boots, and I want to kind of have them hang over a little bit. So I'll get this in, and I'm going to leave the top because I don't want glue in the top, obviously, because it's hanging over my circle. Now these are the flowers that I showed you from the first project. And I cut them off, but I'm going to attach them. And what I liked about this kit is the flexibility of using the dies interchangeably. So there you go. Can you see that? So it has kind of hangs over the circle a little bit, and you have the color background, but staying with the colors of the green and the purple, popping with the calypso coral. Now, one of the neat tricks I saw someone do, and I wish I could remember who did it, but they used this. It's supposed to be. Let's see if I can put it on here. It's supposed to be like what you would put on your boots for water. So I haven't made a card with that yet, but I used the use it vertically, and basic gray is what is the color in the kit, but it's a little bit too dark for this. So this is actually smoke slate. And we're just looking at putting a little bit of kind of like rain on there. Okay, so that is that. And then it gives us two different colors, two different styles. And there is my second to the last. I'm going to do one more. And bear with me and we'll do it together. All right, last one for now, unless I get real sporadic, but it's taking me throughout the day. So now I've taken the swirly bird, which is a die set, and I'm going to create this just in a different twist. But I wanted to show you a couple of things. This border is actually a remnant, and what I do with most of my envelopes that come in the kit is I will stamp on them, and then I will try to reuse this. Because I was the boots, I wanted to get the boots in this DSP, we'll call it. But I'm going to cut this, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I've cut all the pieces, saved this for my other cutouts, and then you can see that this is part of the envelope, and so there's a crease there. Well, I'm going to utilize that crease, and then I'm going to use the border, and I am saving up for my second border that's in the current catalog, but this one's like an old-time favorite. You can watch how it lines up so it covers your design all the way across, so it's kind of cool. All right, so there is that. All right, so now I have my border, and I am going to take plain white, and I'm just going to fold that over and glue it to the bottom. Pretty simple. And I think it's neat to be able to utilize all the aspects of the card, and I think that every person puts their own twist on it, and I think it has benefited me, and I hope through my channel I kind of spurs my creativity, and we can learn from each other and go that way. So I'm going to use this because my leaves on here are the pear pizzazz. It kind of brings out the base, so I decided to use that for the base today. Use the same one. And then before I stamp, again, it's a saving step. If you put everything down and then you stamp and you mess up, everything is ruined. So again, try to do it in steps. And I see that when I did my cut, I tried to use the rough side in, but it didn't. But you can just use your bone folder, crease that down, and you are good to go. All right, so let's build our base. So I'm going to get my swirly on here. And it kind of, I mean, when I saw something else, and that's what my inspiration is I will go through Pinterest or some of the Facebook family that I'm on, and they will have an idea. But to me, I don't have a sketchbook yet. Connie Stewart had a good idea for a sketchbook, and so I'm going to work on that, but I don't have that right now. Now let me show you a little creative tip that I was trying to do Easter eggs. So what I did, I took the flap of my envelope, and this is the punch for the little Christmas lights. And all I did was take, now 3 is my max. We want to do an odd number. And then all I did was trim and round out the bottom. And then I wanted to get a little bit more oomph to it. So all I did was roll the edges in my pad. And that way they kind of pop. I was going to try to brush them or burnish them, but this was quicker. I had someone on my channel that suggested this because I was doing it a long way, which was fine, but whew, it took a long time. Now I want to, this is the yellow or the saffron, and I think it's going to be too light to put a sentiment here, since this was the shaded spruce, which is a dark color for the sentiment. But for this one, it's not going to work. So I am going to go ahead and probably use the Calypso Coral. Let's see if I have my boot. That's yellow, yellow, green. Okay, I can use the Pear Pizzazz. I think that will be dark enough for my, it's going to all fall apart here. Going to dark enough for my sentiment. And I think I already have, here we go, Weather Together. Ooh, one time, I'm done with this one. The one time I did a card without using what I'm just telling you about, and I had the stamp, I'm going crazy, it's all going good, and it was upside down. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. So we improvised and did our thing. Okay, so now we are building our wreath, and I wanted to put together my strips. So I took the sprig and just lined up half of it. Primarily, I'm trying to kind of use up my pieces. And so yeah, that's what I'm doing, is just using the, I have a problem here. Sometimes these pieces, again, I don't throw them away, but if I can utilize them and it's not thick enough to do a double, so all I'm doing is taking, need about 5 of these, taking the one side of it, and that way I can really master a direction that I want for the leaf. Because kind of like when you're doing a wreath, there's all kinds of branches that go every which way. So just for the sake of making it easier and using up my pieces. Okay. So now we build. So now I want to get my eggs in here. And I thought 5 would have been way too many. So I opted for 3. And I don't normally do eggs. I think when the kids were littler, I did eggs. We don't celebrate the egg part of Easter. We celebrate the resurrection. So now I'm just going to put down a good dose of glue so I can get my sprigs in here. Because I'm building my wreath. And we're going to go this way because the boot's going to go right in the middle. And then let's get one more going this way. Okay, so now the boot, I cut off the leaves because it was a little bit too much. And I thought about popping it up, but I really don't want to have too much height in this, or, oops, it's covering my eggs. All right, see, this is how you modify. Da, 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 da. Okay. Got it. All right, now we're ready for my base. Now I am not going to do the bow on screen just for the sake of time, but a wreath always has a bow. So I will do a wreath, a bow, and there you go. So that's fun. I hope that the inspiration, utilizing the pieces, and being able to have a healthy dose of creativity during this time. Pray that God blesses and keeps you safe and healthy. And join me next time, because come April, we'll have another pumpkin. So subscribe. I would appreciate to support my channel as it grows, and I inspired to help you be inspired, because I share what I love and I love what I do. Have a blessed day.